meeting, and I can't even get a motion to approve the minutes, so we'll move on. We'll just start with you, Kevin, and just give us your, on the IMA.
Well, we don't have anybody to vote on, but the Village of Lake George performs maintenance of Charles R. Wood Park throughout the year. There's no formalized agreement in place. We reimburse them through the revenues that are collected from the park. I just wanted to establish a formal intermunicipal agreement with the village, and then to be renewed or looked at every year based on rate changes for their employees or some of the contract work.
You know, have anything as a thing that, I know we can't vote on it, but any agreement written down, or?
We don't. I'm going to leave it to the county attorney and to come up with a formalized intermunicipal agreement, and then we can present it to the village as well and let their council approve it.
So we'll have to wait till we've got...
That's fine, yep.
We have no referrals pending. Mr. Blaze, I guess you're up on the rest of the stuff if you want to...
Well, actually, I don't know what we're going to do, but the folks that are using the festival space, December and January, have approached myself, and I know some of the supervisors, about a deal. They think that, they believe that because they're using it during the winter months, that they should be given some consideration as to the actual cost. The cost, obviously, established by this board and by the village board is $1,500 a day, and they believe that they should not have to pay that amount because they're using it during a time of the year, obviously, where there's not as much use. The thing that's important, I think, to think about is if you do something like this, what's the cutoff date? What's the date when you start again? And actually, talking to our personnel, the maintenance to host these groups is more, because, for instance, if it snows or there's an ice storm, we have to maintain, not only have to plow, but we have to maintain all the sidewalks inside the park, and we also have to heat the public restrooms, which are not, none of that takes place during the summer months. We mow and they show up and it takes place. So it's just a consideration. The Adirondack Chris Kingle Market is a not-for-profit, as you know, by the Adirondack Folk School and the Lake George Chamber of Commerce. But the two pond hockey ice tournaments, we talked about one with being put on by Americade. There's also another one in the works, which will be put on by a private promoter, and that'll be for 2 weeks. So we're actually talking 3 weekends in January and February, and we're talking about a weekend in December. So it's just something for the committee to think about. They're suggesting $500 a day rather than $1,500.
That's a big drop, and I'm sitting here thinking, well, maybe we could drop it to $1,000 a day just for December, January, February, and March, or February, December, January, and February. I mean, I think, can we handle it for $1,000 a month, a day?
Well, I'm going to bring it up to, my board meets this evening, and I'm going to bring it up to them, and we'll have the benefit of their thoughts, but because this meeting was today, and they're anxious to know, because they're planning their events. The pond ice hockey tournaments in particular is going to involve a lot of maintenance. I can tell you that. But creating ice rinks is a big challenge. So just keep that in mind if we adjust the rates. I don't have any thoughts on it one way or another. I think it's nice that all of a sudden these events are showing up in the middle of the winter.
Well, that's what we look for.
I think they're great events, but again, you know, when do we start and when do we end, and so on and so forth. So
All right, well, we can't vote on anything about that anyway right now, but maybe if you have your meeting tonight, see how your board feels, and we'll probably have to try to stick another meeting in about another couple of weeks to finalize this.
And the booked a new event, the British Music Invasion, which will be held July 7th and 8th. That's the folks from Hudson Falls that are raising money for the Strand Theater. And then, obviously, you've seen in the paper, we were able to, Charlie Daniels Band was originally booked in September 24th, but we found out that SPAC was having, I keep forgetting his name, but it's a similar artist. We didn't want to compete, and the only other date available was July 15th. We have a car show in there for the weekend that's there on Saturday and Sunday, but I put the two together, and the car show saw some benefit hooking up with them, so they're going to be able to exit at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And they're also going to utilize the same tents. They're going to utilize the stage to do their awards. The Charlie Daniels people are going to come in at midnight on Saturday evening, Sunday morning, and set up and work all night. And they'll be ready to go at 5 o'clock Sunday afternoon. So we were able to take both events, Charlie Daniels group paying for Sunday, car show paying for Saturday, which saved the car show money. And we were able to put that together so we could get Charlie Daniels in here on Sunday, July 15th. The tickets went on sale last Monday.
It sounds good, so, I mean, we don't have to vote on it, so, that's something you schedule.
No, they're just going to use one day. The fact that they're going to set up from midnight and work all night is no problem for us. They'll be ready to go when they open the gates at 5 o'clock the next day.
All right. Mr. Beatty, had you...
Yeah, I just backtracked this a little bit to the pond hockey and so forth. I can see where they want a little better rate. But the fact of the matter is, if our cost of maintenance is the same or even higher, I mean, that's more than justifiable for them to say, hey, we'd love to do it, it's all season, but our costs aren't going down, so we can't pass that along to you. So I think that's a very a valid and common sense answer to their request.
Well, I agree with you wholeheartedly, but this is our first shot at it this year. You don't want to chase them away the first year.
If they run away for $1,000, then maybe they weren't that.
Well, that's what I mean, to go to 1,000. But I'm going to leave it up to the mayor and his board because they support, taking care of that place as it is. So we'll have to wait to see what mayor's board sees. But
Well,
yeah, I would say 1,000, but it won't be next year that way, but maybe this year, this January and February, just to get them here that first time.
The pond ice hockey tournament that's being done by Americade is also going to be in Crandall Park in Glens Falls, so that's an asset to the city as well. So we certainly don't want to scare them away, and I don't think we will because they've got the interest is extremely high. They're talking about 8 rinks, so with a couple thousand people, and by the reports we've got, they'll certainly get that. That's an extremely popular thing, and the fact that the cities can get some benefit from it too in the middle of the winter is a great asset for us. So I think that maybe some halfway consideration might be okay, but certainly we have to be conscious of the fact that it's going to cost us a lot of time, a lot of manpower, much more than in the summer months.
All right, so let's leave it until your board talks about it. We'll have another meeting in about 2 weeks after Memorial Day or something, and see if I can get more board members here. Yes,
I was just going to mention, thank you, Mr. Chairman, my son participated in the Saratoga Springs pond hockey tournament this past winter, and they did bring in good crowds. 2-day event.
He gave you the
So
he's going to ask you.
Side conversation going on.
Excuse me.
Can you repeat that again?
Yeah,
Because I think it's interesting for the
my
mayor.
son participated in the Saratoga Springs tournament this past winter, and they do have very good crowds.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of telephone calls already on it, and it's amazing. It's very popular. Yeah.
All right, so no sense of beating it to death right now until we can find out a little further more. Anything on the Gaslight Village sign?
Just the sign, we got the sign up, and if you haven't been up there to see it, you should. It's remarkable, and we got a letter here from the president of the old Gaslight Village Association. Evidently, there's still 60, 70 of them that are roaming around, and they all came up, and they said that what a beautiful presentation. I was impressed, proud, and the way it has been introduced to the public is fabulous. This is from Pete Stager, Hadlock Pond Road, Fort Anne, New York. So if you haven't had a chance to look at the sign explaining what the property was before, it came out really well. That's all I have, Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman.
Mr. Mayor. All right, privilege of the floor. Anybody have any other comments? All right, we can't even make a motion to adjourn, but we're going to be adjourned. Thank you all.